Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Big Blonde and Beautiful, the podcast. If you're new here, my name's Kara, and each week I pick a piece of media that has fat representation in it, and I talk about whether or not it's positive or negative, in my opinion. This week we're going to be talking about the movie The Duff from 2015, and I also have a special guest with me, Breely Arford, so thank you for being here.
Yeah, no worries.
Can you tell the audience a little bit about who you are?
My name is Breely Erford. I don't know anything about myself currently, apparently. I do a lot of local theater. I help run Cottagram Theatrical Storytellers, and I'm going to be working at the Danville Public Library starting as of tomorrow.
Nice. And so I kind of put feelers out for the first season of who wanted to do what movie, and you said you loved The Duff, and I was just curious why you love this movie.
I get the humor was just there for me because it's so stupid, but I'm also the weird person of my group. So just the weird thing she did really just made me go, yeah, I do those things. It's fine.
Gotcha. Because so in 2015, I was 15 when this movie came out. So I remember going to the movie theater and watching it, and it was like a big thing for our friend group. We really liked that movie, but now I don't think any of us, I hadn't seen it in years until I watched it yesterday for the podcast. So it'd been a minute. If you don't mind me asking, which you can totally say no, since this is a podcast about our size, when did you notice that like you were treated differently because of your size?
Oh, my whole life. I've always
Mm-hmm.
been the bigger girl in my friend group. So that's another reason I was just like, she's really not the bigger girl in the group, but I get the point of the movie of what they're trying to say. But I was like, she's also really not what I was.
Yeah. I wonder if the movie would have been more impactful. I mean, obviously it's kind of a coming of age comedy type thing, but if it would have been slightly more impactful had they cast a bigger person to play that
Yeah.
role. I
Like Mia was
definitely,
great, but she's also tiny.
yes. Yes, she is. Did you read the book? Because apparently there's a book. I never read it.
No, I've heard of the book only recently, and I was like, well, now I kind of want to read it because the movie is still funny. I just how they describe it, I'm sure it's going to be a lot different in the book.
Probably, yeah. Let's start off with our favorite parts about the movie. So, what are some of your favorite parts?
Um, I'm really bad about the girl next door trope. I fall in love with the boy next door. For some reason, I love that. It's so dumb, but I'm just like, oh, that's so sweet. But at the same time, I'm like, she's been there the whole time. But yeah. And then the humor, because the jokes, like when they're just like her jokes alone, like I'm a monster, like I'll give up monster voice. And I'm just like, I love that because I do these things. And
It makes me think of I don't remember her name. Someone's character from House Bunny, if you've ever seen that movie.
oh yeah, it's been so long. But
Yeah.
yeah.
But whenever she like meets someone new, she like says their name in that voice.
Yes, Emma Stone's character, is it? No.
No, it's
Crap.
like
No.
Anna
Oh, Anna
something.
Faris.
Yes,
Faris.
Anna Faris.
Yes. There's
But
so
yeah,
many people in that movie for a
there
random
are.
movie.
Mm-hmm. But it kind of that part reminded me of that in House
Yeah.
Bunny. I personally, I don't know why, but my favorite part has always been when she asks out Toby, and then there's like the fireworks and the doves coming out from behind her. I love
Oh,
that part.
and the random 1970s porn reenactments always cracked me up because I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Yes. Of course, as a kid, I'd never got those. I was a very sheltered child, so, but watching it now, yes, that's very funny. The classic pizza delivery guy thing, yeah. But I also I like her mom a lot. I think she's very cool. Plus I just love the actress.
Yeah, I was like, the actress is amazing. Yeah, her mom is fun.
Yes, absolutely. And then I also like when she sticks up for herself when she finds out that Toby is like using her. He's duffing her. Yeah.
Yeah. How she handled that was very well. She's like, "Well, I'm not that person though." Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. But I also every single time I see him or watch him in this, I was obsessed, still am obsessed with Twilight, and he was in the comedy Vampire Sucks and he played Jasper. And that's all I think about when I
I
look at him.
forgot he was Jasper because it's been so long since I've seen Vampires Suck. But oh my god, yes.
So every time I just see that,
Okay.
I'm like,
Oh,
you might have been in other things, sir, but to me, you always be the
only
comedic
Jasper.
Jasper. Yeah. Yeah. Any other favorite parts you think of?
Um, I just what else would I was like, I had this thought out. Oh, when they're running the track and she again, they're talking about what she is, and she's just her face of disbelief of like, wait a second, that's not actually who I am, but let's team up and make a fake relationship thing. That always cracked me up. I was like, that's your first thought how to handle that? Okay, cool, let's go.
I don't know. Some of these characters are interesting. I like her humor more than Wesley's. Wesley's is I don't know. He's just not my.
Yeah, Leslie has that very typical alpha like male humor of I'm pretty, so like me humor.
Yeah, lots of inappropriate like, dick jokes or whatever and
Very 2005. Yeah, 2015. I'm aging myself. It's fine.
but yeah, I don't know. Wesley, he's interesting. What did you think about her two friends and how like that whole situation played out?
The fact that they were so oblivious that's what was happening to her, like they were so absorbed into their own world, it just sucked that that took them forever to realize because they didn't actually think of her as like that, but they also
Mhm.
didn't defend her. And I'm like, hey, did you not notice that your friend was suffering?
Yeah. I I know that one of the friends was more like, just let her be. Like, she chose to not be friends with us. But I appreciated the other one that was like, no, something's going on. But I definitely wish they would have reached out sooner and tried to figure out how they could have helped or whatever. So,
Yeah, 'cause they had a lot of power in that situation, and it just felt like she was getting drifted off. Mind you, she didn't communicate her feelings very well, but at the same time, like you guys have been friends your almost your entire lives, and you didn't realize something was wrong.
hmm yeah. But I think that also shows just how when you're friends with someone, sometimes you don't see those things because, like, I'm the biggest person out of my friends. And I remember when we did hairspray, some of them mentioned, like, oh, I'm so glad, like, people aren't treated like this anymore. And I was like, I love you all so much, but let's take a step back.
I'm like,
We
whoa, whoa,
sure are.
whoa.
We sure are. So, but they've like been very supportive of this and they listen and I think they're figuring it out more. But at first I was like, we definitely still are not treated well. Like it might not be as blatantly horrible, like face to face as hairspray is, but like online especially, I get a lot of hate online.
Yeah,
So
I one of your TikToks came across my timeline, and you were like, the hate's coming. I was like, well, now I have to read the comments, and I was like, oh, there's the keyboard warriors that know they can't get punched in the face.
and it's mostly YouTube shorts. I didn't even know anyone watched YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
go on TikTok. What are you doing? But yeah, mostly I just try to remind myself that they're boosting my engagement and there are more people out there that want to hear what I have to say than those people. So
Absolutely.
I just try to remember that. Is it Mia or Mae Whitman?
I thought it was Mia, but it may be May. I don't know. It's been said multiple different ways throughout the years in Hollywood for her.
Okay,
Because I've seen
well,
multiple. What
either
is it?
way,
Yeah.
we'll say Mia May. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Um, but what are your thoughts on them casting her as the ugly fat friend?
It was at the time I was like, oh, that's a choice. But at the same time, for that age, and even in this age, she was considered bigger for Hollywood.
Yeah.
And that's just insane to me still to this day. I'm just like, she had a tiny bit of hip to her body compared to the her two
Yeah.
friends.
And the crazy thing is, I find with these movies that were part of my childhood is that I believed that they were fat for so long, and then I go back and watch them as an adult, and I'm like, no, that's just what
Yeah,
Hollywood wanted. So I don't know how like they put those blinders on us because I definitely was like, yeah, yep, that's
because we've been
correct.
brought up to believe that. If you
Yeah,
have
we
any
have.
type of nothing perfect, you are not perfect and you were lesser.
Hmm. I also hate the fact that they put ugly and fat together in the title because
Yeah.
everyone, society thinks that those two things always go together, and they definitely do not.
I was like, nah, yeah, because again, casting her, she's not any of those things. And I was like, that's such a weird thing. And they're like, that's the premise of the movie. I said, yeah, but they could have still gone about the differently about the premise.
Hmm. Yeah, they definitely could have. Um, so what were some of your least favorite parts of the movie, if you have any?
Oh my God, the video game. The video game. I'm just like, where they have the Duff video game.
Oh, oh yes, I know what you're talking about.
I was just like,
Yeah,
wow, that someone had to animate that and put that in a movie. Go them.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very
And
short part, but
it stands out though. It's still enough to make me go, oh, that's what people are thinking when they're picturing her character is that's what like that's how it's getting correlated. She's like
mhm.
that hated that. I also hated that can't remember the guys that she was really crushing on that she went on a date with and he was trying to get to her friends and she just her face of just awe of being used that killed me because I've been there, I've
Yeah.
been used to try to get to another person. I'm just like cool. That one really sucked and got into the feels.
Yeah. Um, yeah, Toby sucks. He's not even that good looking to me, but that's just my preference. I don't know. I think it's funny that he's like the classic like long-haired skinny white boy who's artsy and plays an
Yeah,
instrument. And
they have
honestly,
a lot of stereotypes.
to be honest though, I've definitely fallen like had crushes on those types of guys.
Oh yeah, everybody has a stereotypical fluffy hair gamer boy stereotype.
Yes, absolutely. But some of my least favorite things was definitely the video game. And then some of the jokes haven't aged well. Mostly Wesley's jokes, like he uses like the R word and the N
Yeah.
word for little people, which kind of I was like, that would not fly today. No, no, no. Which is crazy because it's only 8 years ago.
Oh wow,
That
yeah, like
that's what blows my mind is that this movie was released 8 years ago.
and even then it still kind of was already not okay, but they just shoved it through because
They did.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely in marketing, they ignored that. I remember them having like a contest for selfies and stuff. I think they focused more on the fact that, hey, this is like a movie about high schoolers and they use phones, and isn't that cool? I feel like that was the focus of the marketing campaign,
Yeah, the
from
whole
what I
ending
remember.
credits, yeah, the whole ending credits had like selfies and stuff
Hmm.
of them on set. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then with like the cyberbullying stuff, they added that in, which I feel
Yeah.
like isn't in very many, even
It,
now,
yeah.
coming of
They
age movies.
even if they had it, it gets dismissed pretty fast because they're like, that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
But it
but
does.
it also kind of got dismissed fast in this because they take it down, and I'm like, that's not gone. That's on the
That's still
internet
safe.
forever.
They're still holding that hostage on their phones and
Yeah, still sharing everything. Yeah.
yeah.
Overall, do you think this is positive or negative fat representation?
For fat representation, it's like very negative. how she handled it though was very positive because she did stand up for herself, and not a lot of people stand up for themselves in half these movies
Hmm.
appropriately. So, and she actually stuck to her guns, unlike some of these other ones. Like, just go back into the background. It's okay. She's like, no, 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 I'm here and I'm proud. And if I have to be this role, I'm going to take this role to a different way.
I liked the way that she found a way to combine who she was, like who she was in the past and who she was comfortable being with like what she had learned, and kind of in the end mashed those together. I liked that.
She actually grew in this movie, unlike other movies.
Yes. But yeah, I definitely think that it's negative just because of like the fact that she's not fat, that
Hmm.
even though she like industry standards, she is
And they really
bigger.
didn't have, even the extras weren't big. Like, nobody in that movie was big at
No.
all. I
Nope.
was like, couldn't even try to get it because there's extras that are all different sizes, and not even the extras were bigger.
No, they were like, we, even though this is called designated ugly fat friend, we can't have any fat people in this
None,
movie.
not at
We're
all.
looking
That's not
for,
allowed on set.
it's
Because
just,
yeah,
yeah. And then normally also I do a thicker stick, which we kind of already talked about. I would say stick because she's not bigger,
yeah.
but I do like her as an actress.
And
But
even as she's gotten older, she has gotten thicker, and she's just grown into her body, but she's still not thick,
yeah,
like at all.
definitely have thought about from their perspective of like Hollywood telling them that they are fat. And so they take these roles thinking, this, I don't know if they think like this is a role made for me, or if they realize like, no, I'm really not fat, but like this is what they're giving me, so I guess I'll take it. I don't know.
Oh, the brainwashing's real as we're seeing more and more, like how people have been brought up in Hollywood, how culty it kind of is.
Yes. Yeah. So I just feel bad for, like, not that fat's a bad thing, but being told that you're something that you're not and that it's a bad thing.
When you're a size 8, but Hollywood is saying you're fat because you're a size 8.
Yeah. By so many people all the time, it just probably takes a toll on you psychologically.
You see how many of them gone crazy, especially like Nickelodeon stars. They wonder
Yeah.
why.
That's so curious. It's almost like Hollywood is toxic. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
I used to want to audition when I was little, like for when they'd have like Disney cattle calls or whatever, and I'd
Oh
see the
yeah.
commercials, and I'd be like, "Mom, please, I want to be on Wizards of Waverly Place with Selena Gomez." And she would look at me and she'd go, "No, child stars are messed up. We're not doing that." And of course, as a
Yeah.
kid, I'm like, "Dang it, Mom!" But now I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, you're right. Hollywood would not have
And
been kind to me,
oh
and
God, they would have. And
I'm
even if they
fragile."
were kind to you, they were not going to be kind to you. They were going to be kind to your face. And then as soon as you walked out, they'd be like, "Listen."
Yes, and I was a very fragile kid, so I would have taken all that personally. So my mom
Oh
definitely
yeah.
made the right decision. So yeah. But is there anything else you want to say about the movie?
I think if they redid the movie, because they're going to end up making a remake of it at some point. I hope they
Probably.
like realize like the things they did wrong and like update it to be actually of what the story's supposed to be, because the Duff can also still be a pretty bigger girl, and she can still be, because that's still happening in real life. That
Yeah.
actually happens to girls, and they could do a lot better with it when they do inevitably remake it.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious how well the book deals with it. I might have to go and like
I was like, yeah, I'm
read it,
curious because they're going to describe her probably a lot differently than what the movie gave us.
probably. So, I'm definitely going to have to look and see how they handled all that. Well, thank you, Breely, so much for being here and talking about this movie with me. Is there any like performances or social media that you want to plug before?
Cotogram will have auditions for Hand of God October 5th and 6th. We're really excited to get to do just a whole different type of show. And everyone's welcome to audition as long as they're 18 plus, because it's a very touchy subject of a show.
Gotcha.
But we're encouraging everybody that wants to really step out of the comfort zone and come audition and see what it's all about.
Well, thank you everyone for listening to this episode. As always, please rate us 5 stars, follow, share. The more you share, the more we get out there. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at bbb.podcast and on TikTok at bbb.thepodcast. And you can follow me at Carolina Howie on Instagram. And until next week, stay fat and fabulous. Bye.